Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another and the final edition, I guess, of this season the season's over now of Between the Numbers. Super Bowl 51 is in the books. The Atlanta Falcons obviously went to take on the New England Patriots. Tom Brady versus Matt Ryan was going to be a huge matchup, and it has gone down as one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. I think it is. Well, out of the ones that I've seen, only being however or maybe I went back to the Green Bay Steelers one, or whenever that one. I think that was maybe the first one that I kind of actually watched. But out of the ones seen, and apparently of all time, this is the greatest Super Bowl of all time. And looking back at this one and the others, it was a pretty crazy game. We had the biggest comeback of all time in a Super Bowl. At one point, the Atlanta Falcons were up 28 points to 3 points during the third quarter, and the Patriots come back, tie up the game, push it into overtime, win the toss, drive down the field, and become world champions with a touchdown from James White, who had an MVP level game. But Tom Brady, the man, who's the goat, I would say now. Now it's got 5 rings, and it must feel pretty sweet to be a Patriots fan. How well?
Yeah, it feels amazing. Like I could have literally like after the game, I think I could have stayed up all night. I was so happy. I had so much adrenaline. I think also the everyone around me who I was watching with, I think would have really happily gone to bed and towards the end of the third quarter. But I think the reason they stayed up was I probably quite enjoyable to watch because I was in such denial because I still thought that we were going to come back at that point. Like I never at any point said we'd lost this game, and I think everyone just was kind of watching me like emotionally crumble, and then literally emotionally go through one of the most emotional and weirdly fun and but difficult games I've ever watched in my life. It was great at the end.
I mean, as a neutral, well, I guess kind of neutral, but also like I don't like either of the teams that much. But I guess you could say I was supporting the Patriots. Um, but it was really fun watching you guys get beaten down and like be on in the first half. Not like for like trying to be an advertisement for the game itself. Couldn't really pick the better one to play for the Super Bowl, apart from the first quarter, which was horrifically boring.
Yeah,
Which led people the people I was watching it, the people like maybe the first they casually watched the NFL. They weren't too happy. They weren't like they were like, oh, okay, it's 0-0 in the first quarter. Just watched 15 minutes of this, but then have to say they left after the end of the third quarter and they missed out on the 19 points in the fourth quarter from the Patriots, and then that extra six on top in overtime. So yeah, some people went to bed at the end of the third quarter, which I think actually a lot of people did. Or definitely over here in the UK, being like, "Well, yeah, Atlanta have got this. No way the Patriots can come back from this," and they did. And it had to be Tom Brady, didn't it?
yeah. I mean, there's arguments to make that maybe James White had had the better game, but I think that's kind of retarded because I mean without without Tom Brady there's no James White game,
Mm.
and without yeah
Without James White, you can plug in someone else.
yeah that could have easily been anyone else. It could have easily been LeGarrette Blunt if he had just not fumbled the
Yeah,
ball and
D
at the
D
beginning.
Dion Lewis or anyone like that.
Yeah, I mean Dion Lewis. I think he still had a bit of he had the weirdest injury in the game in the last play of regulation where he kind of
Mm.
like slipped and then jumped into the
Yeah, that was exactly that. Um,
but
I remember watching it, being like, "Why has he jumped into the jumped up in pain?" But it looked quite painful. Like turned his knee and his ankle in it, wasn't it, in the ground?
yeah.
But anyway, the Super we talked about this beforehand, and maybe through a couple takes, which we fucked up a little bit.
Yeah.
But we talking about that there were so many different aspects of this game that you can point to and be like, that's this was great. This could be a turning point in the game, and then you could, I guess, the whole turning point in the game. I say for the Patriots' favor. I mean, you have the Dante Hightower strip sack and recovery, and then but then you have for Atlanta, you have Julio Jones's catch, and then in this which was amazing, unreal, and then to top that, you have Julian Edelman's catch, which was possibly one of the best catches in the Super Bowl era.
Yeah. I think I mean if I mean Tom Brady said in the press conference afterwards, when he was asked like what was the turning point of the game, he said there was like 5 or 6 turning points in the game that you could point to, and said that was the moment when we thought we were going to win. I think it's different for everyone, but I think for me the big turning point of the game where I personally started to believe that this was going to happen was the strip sack of Matt Ryan, because I was saying to everyone around me that the only way this is going to happen, where the Patriots are going to have a chance, is they've got to get a turnover on defense. They can't rely on getting stops. They've got to turn the ball over and get good field position, because they can't just do it with 2 offensive drives. And I think it kind of summed up the Falcons. They seem to kind of lose focus. There, Devonta Freeman, he was meant to be blocking Dante Hightower,
Yeah,
and
he's terrible
he was
now.
like looking the other way, and kind of just let him go past him, and then he just destroyed Matt Ryan, and then Alan Branch recovered the ball, and it was kind of at that moment that I thought, yeah, okay, this is doable. This is doable. Like, and he like even then it was still only very very small, because it was the thought of having to get 2 2-point conversions as well. Was quite difficult to comprehend as that being something we could do. But it was amazing. You could tell Tom Brady had that kind of he had that look in his eye where I don't think any defense could have stopped him that day. Like he was just unstoppable. He had that kind of drive that he has, and we'll never know what it was that drove him that day. But he seemed pretty set on it, and you could tell. It was weird seeing the celebrations from the Patriots after the game, and you
Yeah,
could
it
definitely
was
tell
weird. Mm.
that the emotions were flying high for the Patriots. That you never really see Brady and Belichick get so emotional after games, even after winning Super Bowls, and they it seemed to really take it out of them. But it was nice to see them actually show some emotions for once.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah. Belichick for sure. I mean, Brady, I think I had a little. Sometimes I see it, but Belichick very rarely. Like
Yeah,
you didn't see anything from him. I mean, like this game, I just want to talk about. Like, I mean, 28-3. They were the Atlanta Falcons are up in the Super Bowl. This is in the third quarter, and they've just come out from halftime, and get a touchdown to put them up 28-3. At that point, surely they had to be thinking this is in the bag.
yeah,
28-3. Apparently there was even a shop in Atlanta who had like all the shops had already been like issued with like Atlanta Super Bowl winners, blah blah blah.
yeah.
No, apparently someone had already started like putting it out on the shelves.
Oh, you don't want to jinx it.
I know, and they did, and they totally did, and they fucked it, and and it went down.
Oh. Yes, I think it's what the chart. ESPN had this like percentage thing, where they put together like the statistical chance of winning. I think at that point when it was 28-3 in the third quarter, I think it was 0.1% chance that the Patriots would come back and win.
Crazy. They needed everything to go their way, and somehow I don't know whatever was said on the sidelines, because I mean it couldn't really have been, but like in the halftime, I guess halftime as well, but then reiterated after the Falcons' last touchdown, the defense just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I think
I mean, like, it's just crazy.
you were saying what was. I think it's also a matter of what wasn't said on the sideline, because I think for the Patriots players, because they're all so ingrained in that Patriots do your job mentality, I think they all just kind of motivated themselves, and just inside I think genuinely they all just still believed that they would win that game.
You know, you have like the sound effects where they have like a mic on a player, and so there was one on Julian Edelman for that for the game, and there was one just like towards the end, it would just be like, "This is gonna be one hell of a comeback, guys," and it was just like. He was saying it, and I was like, I wasn't really like, even though this is after the game, so obviously I already knew that they'd won. But like he was saying it, and I wasn't really sure if he was too confident in it. But like if he's saying it again out to like the rest of his teammates, that is that mentality, and that's just like what probably was the deciding factor. I think it was just like the experience that the Patriots had in like big games in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And obviously with Tom Brady playing in his
Seventh.
his seventh Super Bowl, mad, crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I don't even know what else to say. But I really thought when the pick six from Alford, I think, to make it 21-0 in the second quarter, I was thinking at that point, I was like, wow, this is brutal. 20
Yeah.
like you can like 21 points difficult to come back from. 14 is all right because you can just get a score, then you're one score within it, so you're always there and it's always within reach. 21 is pushing it. And
Yeah.
then 28, and then what? But they hit the field goal, so it was 21-3. Then 28-3. Wow. At that point,
They missed the PAT as well.
did they?
Yeah, I mean, they missed. I mean, when Steven Gostkowski missed that
Oh,
PAT.
and then in the James White touchdown afterwards, yeah,
Yeah,
the first one, huh?
I was having
Yeah.
flashbacks to the AFC Championship game where we lost it by a point because we missed a PAT, and I was thinking, oh, this is going to be one of those
Mm.
ones again.
I mean, that was the fact that the Patriots had to come back and have like two.
Yeah,
It was two 2 point conversions.
yeah,
Just to get like 16 points back on. Like, wow, I mean, like the Falcons had their chance for sure.
yeah.
They had so many chances to end this game. Obviously, we know like they could have like there's that certain point in time was it in the fourth quarter where they have the ball and they could just do some running plays, run out the clock, kick the field goal,
They
make
could
it a
have taken a
two-score
kneel.
game.
They could have just kneeled down 3 times.
And then taken get a field goal, two score lead, but no, like it just seems mismanagement again in a Super Bowl
Yeah,
from Atlanta here, and a lot of people are talking about this, how they didn't run when Dan Quinn was in Seattle against the Patriots,
yeah.
and then Dan Quinn's in Atlanta, and they didn't run against the Patriots, and what happened both times? Patriots come back and win it.
I think also with the benefit of hindsight, we can obviously criticize Seattle, not Seattle, Atlanta for the way that they played in the fourth quarter. That they maybe should have played it a lot more safe. But I think it's difficult to say because I mean we know now because the Patriots came back and won it. But maybe there was a genuine thing that they felt that they needed to go all the way down the field. That they had to throw the ball, and
Mm.
maybe they weren't confident in their run game at that point because I mean it had kind of gone a bit stale. In the fourth quarter of the run game, so they felt.
Neither team's run game really got going at all.
Nah, I mean the Falcons kind of in the first half. I think they did a really good job of stretching the Patriots defense, and Devonta Freeman was like kind of running around the outside, and that worked really well. But no, neither team ever really got going. I mean, the Patriots had a pretty shocking day for a run game.
Mm.
It was their whole offensive line. I mean, I got so worried because I mean. Everything was happening, which happens to us when we lose in the postseason, which was Brady was getting hit all the time, and his passing was so inaccurate. I mean, even in the third quarter, there were a lot of drops by Edelman and Amendola where passes were just like that slight bit off, and I was thinking, oh, it's just gonna be one of those bloody days again.
It just seemed that there were so many points where I could definitely see Atlanta running away with it, and I don't know. I felt that it was just a bit odd seeing the decisions that they made sometimes. But to be honest, I do kind of understand them, like kind of in that situation where they can just kneel down. Surely the Patriots would be expecting the run because that's what you do, and that's where you hit them with the play action, and which is what although they were in the drop down pass, but I mean, they kind of I like the way they tried to do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't by the book. But I like the way that they were going for that. Like they try to lure the Patriots in to make an even big play, and then hopefully push the game out, and then just I think that's what they wanted to do. Any sort of other form of scoring from the Falcons in the second half after that touchdown would have ended the game.
Yeah, they literally all they needed was a field goal, and it would have put the Patriots out of reach. But I mean, you said I mean that the Falcons were trying to draw the Patriots in, and it did actually work for them on the first play of that drive where. It was like watching, in Madden when you do like engage 8 and you just send everyone forward and try and blitz the quarterback. Patriots were basically doing that, and then Devonta Freeman was just by himself and he caught the ball and ran like 30 yards.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It was a weird one.
No, I mean it was that was quite cool to watch. Like they had so many guys pass rushing. That's why they got so many sacks. So they were just like. You have to take that risk at that point.
Let's just talk about a little bit quickly for they've just like there was a lot of passing in this game, but only one player over 100 yards, being arguably the Super Bowl MVP in James White. But there was a lot of talk beforehand about Julio Jones, how he would play. He had a good game, but I don't know. Like
I think
they didn't target him that much, or
they didn't target him very much, but I thought Julio Jones he did his job well, which is making catch in clutch situations
and
where
making and then like on the sideline when he made that catch, I was.
yeah
But then he also does it. What I really like about him is when he goes when his run after catch. It's one of the best.
yeah
And again, like his stiff arm
yeah
is pretty crazy. I mean, we saw that in the AFC Championship game. But
yeah saw against the Panthers as well.
yeah. Look at this. Look at NFC South. It's just it's like the best division in football. Clearly, you got two
Yes,
players, two teams going to the Super Bowl back to back years.
yeah, it's true. I mean, every year we rip into the AFC like NFC
The NFC
South.
South. It's not. It's well. I mean, like it's not a good division. People were like Atlanta's only in the playoffs because of the of their team of their division, and it's kind of true.
But yet they've sent both the NFC representatives for the Super Bowl in
Uh
the
huh.
last 2 years have been from the NFC South, and they've also played like with in record-breaking teams. Like the Panthers last year, that was a record-breaking team. Falcons this year, record-breaking team. I mean, yeah, I mean,
Hmm. Like
NFC South,
two MVPs as well.
yeah,
But two losses in the Super Bowl, which I'm sure both organizations would love to trade in for a
yeah.
ring.
I mean, Matt Ryan isn't gonna put. He's probably he'll put his MVP trophy on a shelf somewhere, but he would much rather have a ring
Yeah,
or a
100%.
Lombardi trophy there.
I really want to know what we like. I just like about the Falcons now. Just to think that. Do you think this was kind of like a one season thing for the Falcons already? Like I know it's really like it's like the season's just over. But like,
I'm
what are you thinking about for the
I'm actually
Falcons for next season? Are you expecting them to come back? Because a lot of people were talking about before the start of the season that like Matt Ryan, if he didn't do something, he was kind of maybe on the chopping block as well. Like they were like, we can't really move
yeah.
forward with him. But then clearly he showed today his potential.
I mean, it depends. I mean, we I think this year I'll probably be slightly more skeptical about talking about the Falcons. They're going to have a repeat next season because
Mm.
after what we saw with your Panthers,
Uh huh.
um, and I think what would make me slightly more skeptical over the Falcons is losing Kyle Shanahan, the
Mm.
offensive
Oh yeah.
coordinator, because his play calling it wasn't his kind of coaching. It was more his play calling and it's like his unique way of thinking and how he finds ways to spread the ball to different receivers. And I don't know whether if he goes, they're going to lose that or they'll find a way of keeping it in the offensive. Their new offensive coordinator is the former Alabama offensive coordinator to come in
Hmm.
to replace Kyle Shanahan. And if they can find a way of keeping that in the offense, I think they would challenge again. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's also
It's a tough one. I mean, like they're gonna get a tougher schedule because
yeah,
obviously winning the division makes it even harder to repeat than do it. But yeah, it's a lot of interesting things I think happening there in Atlanta because they seem to have their kind of young defense coming up and going. But Matt Ryan, he's getting on a bit in age, so. Well, I know like Tom Brady. Well, he just won his ring, but and then Matt Ryan is Super Bowl. I know this is like a huge thing. I don't expect to like have a huge drop off, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was one. He's
yeah,
just one of those players who like I don't know.
yeah. I think
People will expect like he was a good quarterback, but no one really expects him to make that push to elite level. And like maybe this was his 1 year that he peaked, or maybe there's more from Matt Ryan to see. It'd be interesting to see what happens with him.
he seriously surpassed expectations. I think also for the Falcons, what could be a problem for them next season is for the Patriots. They're used to being a target team in the AFC that everyone like circles the Patriots as that kind of like red letter fixture that you work to try and beat the Patriots, and they've been doing that since 2001. And for the Falcons, they're now going to be going in as a target team in the NFC, and
Hmm.
they've never had that in the history of their franchise ever.
I think it was
Uh,
2013 that they won the NFC South, and they were I think they were something like second or third in I mean first or second seed in the NFC.
yeah,
This was back when I don't know, was it Steve Johnson had just signed for them from the Rams?
yeah. And they
Was
went to the
that
NFC Championship game, and was it they
yeah?
didn't
They went to
they
I think the
lost
NFC Championship game. Yeah, I can't remember what it was though.
they lost to the 49ers.
Let me see. Let me see. Oh, I can't remember.
No, they lost to the 49ers in the championship game.
Oh yeah. With Matt Ryan throwing three touchdowns, two interceptions. There we go. Yeah, it's a little, bit of a break though from like 5 years apart. That
Yeah.
was, and that was a young Matt Ryan then. He's only 31 now, so obviously expecting at least a fair few more years. I mean, if players retire or whatever things they feel, and then maybe we won't see Big Ben back again. That's a big talk, but
Oh, I
um,
can't wait to spend all off season speculating about that until he comes out and says something.
yeah, exactly. Yes, true. So if you could give MVP to the Super Bowl, who would you have given it to? Would you give it to Tom Brady?
I would have given it to Tom. I did toy with like thinking, oh, maybe James White
James
should have had
White.
it, but I think that I mean he James White had a massive game in the Super Bowl. I think he broke a couple records as well. But then Tom Brady set the highest. Like he broke records as well. He had the most passing yards ever in a Super Bowl. And
466 yards passing, Tom
yeah,
Brady.
and I think that's kind of ridiculous. I think with again like we said earlier, you could have plugged anyone in like James White.
Hmm.
You could have plugged anyone in there. I think.
Anyone who's
And
yeah, like I know you mean like who's the same level. That they're not that
yeah.
great. I mean, obviously Tom Brady makes them great. I mean, let me just say this: like, so Tom Brady attempted 62 passes in the game.
Wow.
Matt Ryan attempted 23.
Wow.
They were
That's.
so far behind that they could only pass. They could only throw in the air.
I think also I think one of the key like I kind of overlooked storylines in the Super Bowl. I think what actually played really well in the Patriots' hands was even though in the first couple quarters until their comeback started they weren't scoring points. They were getting really long drives on offense and then they kept stalling.
Hmm.
And then the Falcons would come on, have a really quick drive and score. And I think that kind of accumulative long drives that they kept having really tired out the Falcons' defense. Um,
Hmm.
and you could tell that, especially when it got to overtime, that they were just knackered. They couldn't get anywhere near the Patriots.
Yeah, I think it definitely was the case for sure. I mean, I'm just gonna crunch some numbers in a second, and then I'm just tell you what this is. I think it just so the Falcons they had 17 completions, Matt Ryan, plus 11 runs from Devontae Freeman and 7 from Terrence Coleman. So they had 35 plays, which well, I mean, well, 35 like where they made or yards or they ran the ball and the ball moved on 35 plays. Tom Brady threw the ball 63 times. Was it 62? And he made 43 and in 43 completions. They already have like so many more plays than in the entire game than the Atlanta Falcons, and they had like 37 first downs in the whole Super Bowl for New England.
Wow.
Atlanta had 17. It, you gotta question that defense in Atlanta here. Like what is going on there?
Yeah,
Like
I think
how I mean, if you're up 20, if you're Matt Ryan, you're up 28-3. You're like we're looking good. Like they're not gonna come. They can maybe get a couple touchdowns, but it's fine. And you're gonna look to your defense and be like, could you not get some sort of stop? Anything from either side of the ball from Atlanta, any kind of play would have ended the game. It was so close for them.
yeah, and I think I mean my thing. I mean yeah, we can criticize the Falcons as much as possible. I think also I mean as a Falcons player, you kind of gotta like just say that you're in the presence of greatness at that point. I don't think anyone was stopping Brady once he got. Yes, I mean they shouldn't have allowed him to get going, but I think
Hmm.
once Brady got going, and they allowed that first touchdown and kind of let him get going, I think you could have put the Seattle defense of 2013 in there, and I don't think they would have stopped him.
Ooh, that's I don't know because that's a lot of passing to the secondary. The Falcons secondary isn't that great. Ooh, I don't
Yeah.
know.
All right, that was.
But there's just one stat that I want to bring up from this game, which just blew my mind. The Patriots led for a total of 0 minutes and 0 seconds in the Super Bowl. They
How does?
never at one point led the game and they won. Like that's just that. Like the NFL has just been posting so many things about it. Like every single day, I wake up and the NFL will be like the Patriots led for nothing, and you're just like what? Like, but thinking about it, like they never led the game.
I mean, it's crazy. And also, I saw another stat which was Tom Brady has never thrown a pass in the first quarter of a Super Bowl. I mean, never thrown a touchdown pass, not a
Oh,
pass. He's thrown.
really? Oh, yeah.
He's,
No, obviously didn't.
yeah,
That's a pretty crazy stat for Tom Brady.
yeah.
Means you got to get out. You got to if you're playing the Patriots in the Super Bowl, you got to go ahead. Or you could just wear white and then you win. Like, why did we think the Patriots weren't gonna win? They weren't. They were wearing white. They're obviously gonna win.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Atlanta had like the choice to choose.
No,
I
I
think
think.
they had first choice.
Yeah.
I think
Well, I think yeah.
they had first choice and they chose red and they were like, oh, but don't worry. But they don't really have a white.
Could we see a trend next season with the team? It's black as their second kit, isn't it?
It's black their second kit. Yeah, I mean their third kit is white. They do have one, but you know, it's never gonna happen.
Will we see a trend next season that the team that gets allocated their home
Well, it's AFC.
home could
AFC have got their home one for next season.
do they just choose to play in white then? Like
Yep, 100%. Play 'em white, you win. Simple.
I would just embrace it and be like, screw it, we're gonna play in white. But then but then if you choose to play in white, and then you could maybe jinx it and then lose.
Wait, what? No, no. But they've always chosen to play in white. Like if you choose first, if you get to choose first, like the Broncos, like a couple years ago, they got well last year, they
Yeah.
chose first, got white,
Okay. Fair play.
and
Fair
then
play.
worked for them. I mean, the Falcons had the choice. It was the NFC's turn to choose which, and they screwed it up.
I mean, so ultimately,
If
we
you
knew from almost a week ago that the Falcons were going to lose this game.
ultimately, yeah, and ultimately we knew from the start of the season when we were chatting about it and talking about our Super Bowl predictions, how wrong we were, or how wrong I was. I was very wrong. But I did say I didn't pick a winner because I just said whoever's white, whoever wears white in the Super Bowl, they're gonna win. There you go.
There we go.
That's what you guys need to know. I think we can end the podcast here. I'm not really sure what else you want to talk about for the Super Bowl.
I'll leave my speculating for next week.
All right, here we go, guys. Obviously, okay, we're gonna kick off into the off season. We're gonna have some chat. But next week, we're gonna look at our predictions, how wrong we were, or how wrong I was, and then we can see who actually won in the end. Do you have all the numbers in that for the wins and losses?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
nice.
have them somewhere.
Well, I'll get Will to do that and then type them up. But I think until then, guys, this has been a close to the 2016 season with the New England Patriots coming out on top, and I really feel that we should have some outro music right now, but we don't.
We
But
could
I think,
just
I don't know. I think we
fade
just
it out
could
slowly.
fade it out slowly and just like continue to talk, but like just less and less.